Today is Wednesday, May 4th, and today was clean and jerk work, obviously, like it usually is, but again, similar to the last few days. Now that we are 3 weeks out, pivoting to be a little bit more specific, and so moved on from the power clean plus hang clean plus push jerk complex to just clean and jerks. And I talked about on Wednesday my decision to forego the push jerk idea. I don't know if forego is the right word to use here, but basically felt like I was reaching my limit with the push jerk, and so decided to pivot to the split jerk. Tried it on Friday for the first time, ended up going pretty well, and so I'm going to focus these next 3 weeks on just honing the split jerk and getting a little bit more used to that so that I can use it in competition. Unfortunately, today was not super great of a day technically. I think one thing that affected my jerk a lot is my mental, I think, because on Friday, the way I approached it was sort of like, okay, I'll plan on doing the power jerk for the sets, but I'll try these split jerks during the warm-ups, and if they feel good, then I'll just continue with them. And I think thinking about it in that sort of mindset made a lot of what I was doing on the push jerk very transferable to the split jerk. Like all of the things I do well on the push jerk, I was like transitioning over to the split jerk very well. Whereas today, I think I might have had maybe a bit of an over focus. Like I was overly focused on the split jerk, and I feel like when I think about just doing exactly what I do in the push jerk, but just at the very last moment changing how I move my feet, that's when I have the most, I think, mechanically and technically proficient split jerk. Whereas, I don't know, I think this is partially just because I'm not super great at the split jerk when I focus too much about how do I make this split jerk like good? Like my body just doesn't move in the way that I want it to, I guess. These warm-ups aren't terrible. Like they didn't feel great, but looking back through these videos, like, you know, they look pretty relatively solid. But I think thinking back on this session, like the cues that I think would help is obviously, like, I think I want to continue thinking about the split jerk as, like, conceptualize it as doing everything I do in the push jerk, but just changing the way I move my feet at the very end. And with that, like, when I do the push jerk, my feet barely move. They, like, just barely slide if they do move. And so when I do that, so that first jerk was probably my best jerk in terms of overall balance, which is sort of what I was going to go into before. When I do the push jerk, because my feet barely move, I can maintain like the weight of my body, like in my feet, in the exact same place because I'm just going purely up and down. Whereas in the split jerk, I have a much stronger tendency to want to lean forward just because of the splitting of the feet. And so it's not super drastic here. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but I still am having that tendency to like want to like lean forward and have my weight be shifted forward. And this one is probably the worst one in terms of like my bar path. It looks exactly like a check mark. Like I'm moving very forward, and then my weight is subsequently getting pushed forward. And so I feel like that could be helped to be combated, or that could, one thing that would help combat that is if I think about pushing up and back with my shoulders. Similar cue as on Monday that I thought would help, pushing up with the shoulders. That, and obviously the conceptualization of the split jerk as the same thing as the push jerk, just slightly different at the very end. And I think that will help me sort of maintain my overall up and down balance. Or at least that's the hope. We'll try to implement that on Friday and see how that goes with some heavier weights than today. But yeah, that was that. And then moved on to clean pulls, where they're pretty simple, just focusing on position and speed and just being aggressive and making sure I'm hitting those right positions. And then, pretty solid work there. And then did some accessories and then called it a day.